At 35, she thought life would look different. At 45, she still believed she could catch up. By 55, she realized she was no longer grieving the past. She was grieving a future that never arrived. The life she thought she would have. The life she planned for. The life she expected. The relationship. The career. The version of herself she was certain she would become. And every day she compared reality to a future that no longer existed. Every day reality lost. This is the woman who learned to let go. For years she carried a quiet sadness. Not the kind people could see. The kind hidden behind smiles. Behind routines. Behind busy days. It appeared in quiet moments. When she was alone. When she reflected. When she saw someone living a life she once imagined for herself. And every time, the same thought returned. This wasn't supposed to be my life. She had worked hard, made sacrifices, done what she believed she was supposed to do. Yet somehow life had unfolded differently. Some dreams had ended. Others had changed. Some never arrived at all. And although years had passed, part of her remained trapped inside a future that never happened. One evening she walked along a rugged coastline beneath darkening skies. Waves crashed against the cliffs below. The wind carried the scent of salt and rain. In the distance stood an old lighthouse, its beams sweeping slowly across the ocean. Steady, calm, unafraid of the storm. Drawn toward it, she followed the cliff path until she reached its base. There she found an elderly lighthouse keeper watching the sea. He seemed completely at peace, the kind of peace she had spent years searching for. Finally she asked, "How do I let go?" The keeper looked at her, then asked, "Of what?" "The future I lost." The old man smiled gently, then shook his head. "You cannot lose a future. Only an expectation." The woman stared out across the ocean. Because suddenly she could see it. She had not been fighting reality. She had been fighting the gap between reality and expectation. The keeper watched the waves for a moment, then spoke again. "You keep treating life like it broke a promise. But life never promised anything." The words stung. Not because they were cruel. Because they were true. For years she had believed life owed her a particular outcome, a particular story, a particular future. And every year reality failed to match that picture. She felt betrayed. The lighthouse keeper pointed toward the tower behind them. "Do you know why the lighthouse was built?" "To guide ships." The old man smiled. "Partly." The lighthouse was never built to stop storms. It was built because storms are inevitable. The wind grew stronger. The waves crashed harder. Yet the lighthouse remained. Steady. Reliable. Unmoved. The keeper continued. If sailors waited for perfect weather, no ship would ever leave the harbor. The woman watched the beam sweep across the dark sea. For years she had been waiting. Waiting for life to become what she expected. Waiting for reality to match the picture in her mind. Waiting for a future that was never coming. The keeper spoke softly. "The life you wanted is not always the life you need." Something shifted inside her. Not because the pain disappeared, but because she finally stopped demanding a different story. The strange thing about letting go is that people think it means losing something. Often it means gaining something. Freedom. As Marcus Aurelius taught, Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny. The waves continued rolling toward the shore. The wind continued moving across the cliffs. The storm continued its journey across the sea. And for the first time in years, she stopped resisting. Some people spend so much time mourning the life they expected, that they never notice the beauty of the life that arrived instead. The keeper pointed toward the horizon. A distant ship emerged through the storm. Its course was different than planned, its journey harder than expected, yet it continued forward. Look. The ship never reached the harbor it planned for. Yet somehow, it still found land. The storm slowly began to clear. The lighthouse beam swept across calmer waters. Golden light appeared along the horizon. And standing beside that lighthouse, she realized something. The future she lost had never existed. But the life in front of her did. For the first time, she stopped looking over her shoulder at a road she never traveled, and started walking the one beneath her feet. The ocean remained vast. The future remained uncertain. The journey remained unfinished. But the burden was gone. And as she walked away from the lighthouse, she understood at last. Peace was never waiting in the life she imagined. It was waiting in the life she already had. And for the first time in a very long time, she felt free. Modern Stoic mind.